Hi, it's Jim Connell. I'm here with Jackson Goodman. This is a Craftsman interview. As you guys know, I interview students and recent graduates to talk a little bit about careers and school and interests and things like that. And I'm just delighted to have Jackson here. We talked about doing this a few months ago, and finally we got it done. The interesting thing is it is Autism Awareness Month in April, and Jackson is someone who lives with autism. And I want, before we get started, since we're talking about careers and jobs and things like that, and I'm going to be asking Jackson about his college career too, I want to read off a couple things in the spirit of the awareness piece. I'm a geek about ChatGPT right now, so I asked it to give me 10 unique skills of high-functioning autistic adults. So I'm going to read them off. Attention to detail. These individuals may have a heightened ability to notice small details and patterns that others may miss, which can be an asset in fields such as science, engineering, and art. Hyper-focus is number 2. Number 3 is advanced problem-solving skills. Autistic individuals may excel at breaking down complex problems into smaller components and approaching them systematically. Number 4, strong memory. Number 5, creativity. Number 6, analytic thinking. These individuals may be able to break down complex problems into smaller components, like I just said. Number 7, honesty and integrity. Number 8, intense focus. Number 9, unique perspectives. Autistic individuals may bring a fresh perspective to a problem or project, which can lead to new ideas and solutions. And number 10, exceptional attention to routine and organization. These individuals thrive on routine and structure and may be highly organized and efficient in their work. So those are a few of the skill sets. I think those describe you well, Jackson. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
So let's talk about college. Where did you go to school and what did you study?
First, I went to College of Lake County and got my general studies out of the way. Then I transferred to University of Wisconsin-Whitewater and studied English creative writing with a minor in library sciences and graduated with honors, Magna Cum Laude.
Awesome. That's a lot of hard work. Did you enjoy your time at Whitewater?
I did.
What did you enjoy most?
I mostly enjoyed the creative projects that I had to come up with and build websites regarding some of the library courses I had to take and add those within my Google site. And that's a skill I can achieve with creativity. But outside from classes, I really enjoyed being part of a Christian organization called InterVarsity.
Okay. Well, tell me about that.
InterVarsity is not just in Whitewater, but it's at different locations throughout the country. And it's one of these groups that it's like going to church, but you're joined in with a group of people that are quite frankly around your age if you're in college. And what you do is you praise and you worship the Lord during these one week InterVarsity. What they call it is our worship nights.
Okay, gotcha.
And you listen to the worship team, which is a group of musicians who are also students at whatever school you're at, and they play a few songs before you are heard a lecture from a guest speaker.
Oh, that's neat. That's neat. So you have been switching gears for a second. You have been looking for employment. I understand that you're upcoming, you're going to be working in the summer at Oak Grove School.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell me how long you've done that and what you do?
Okay, so at Oak Grove School, the school I graduated from in 2013, it's almost been a decade. I got hired there in the summer of 2016 and started to work alongside the maintenance and custodial staff by helping them get ready for the new school year, in which we clean lockers and classrooms. We also have to move out furniture so that the floors can be waxed and get bright and shiny. And then after that, we have to move everything back in. So it's a long process. It does take up the whole summer, but we manage to get through with it each and every season there is. But when I'm also there, not only do I work with them, but sometimes I will work in a solitary manner, whether that is painting or having to take out the trash or deliver packages and mail to offices and classrooms for employees. But I've enjoyed that. I really enjoyed doing that, and I can't wait to get back to it this summer.
That's great. That's great. They're lucky to have you. I know my sister teaches at Oak Grove, or used to teach at Oak Grove, so she would see you once in a while.
Yes.
Yeah. And
in fact, I was her student in 2nd grade.
Man, time flies, right?
Yes.
So tell me a little bit about your interest in the library, because you said you had a minor
yes.
in library sciences, and you have told me in the past that working in a library is really at the top of your list in terms of what you want to do, right?
Right.
Why is that?
Because I really love to read books. Reading books is one of my favorite hobbies of all time. And wanting to work in a library while also writing books in my personal life and hoping to become a famous author is something that I know I have up my alley, because I am creative.
Yeah.
And if there are any libraries that need a full-time worker who knows how to create websites and be able to organize and shelve, and also come up with advertisements regarding stuff for events and helping with school curriculums, I'm the person that can do that.
Yeah, and customer service as well, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you work at Target at one time?
No.
Oh, I thought you worked at Target.
No, I never worked at Target.
Scratch that.
Yeah.
That's my fault. So you've applied at a few different libraries and school libraries around Lake County. Right now, you geographically want to hang around here. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay. And can you talk a little bit about the interview process? Does it make you nervous?
No, I do not get nervous for interviews.
Okay, good. Is there any challenges as it relates to the interviews?
The most challenging part, I would have to say, is when you're asked a question and you stumble to know what the answer is. It's hard to think about because you're thinking, if you've had an interview before and it was a similar question that they asked you, it may take time for you to answer it because you don't know what you answered, and nobody ever records themselves from an interview.
Yeah. So there's a little bit of a pause sometimes. I think that's natural.
Yeah.
With everyone. What you're writing a book right now?
I've actually finished 2 books.
You finished 2 books?
Yes.
Well, tell me about that.
Well, right after graduation, I got started with my first novel. I brainstormed it while I was still in college, and I wanted to start off with a book that is based off of my life in high school before going on to the genre I definitely want to work on, mystery with murders, because over the years I have read so many Agatha Christie books, which has got me inspired into writing murder mysteries of my own. And I am currently brainstorming book 3, which is a murder mystery. I have just finished my very first murder mystery, which is book 2, and I'm in the process of currently having them published within the near future.
So, how long are the books? How many pages?
Currently, right now, the books I have right now, they are in between 320 and 340 pages, but
really?
But they're double spaced, so
okay.
That's how the process is supposed to go. When you write your manuscript, you have to have double spaced, and then when it's published, the spacing will go to like single or 1.5. Okay.
That's a lot of writing, man.
Yep, and I usually go for 3 pages a day.
3 pages? Is that like a goal or something?
It is.
Really? And when do you write? Like, any time of day or?
Well, as of right now, while waiting to get hired for a job, I go on my computer every morning and type up 3 pages.
Wow. Now you're too young, because I'm getting old. But there used to be a great program. I'll show it on YouTube when we're done with this thing. It was one of my favorite shows. It was on C-SPAN, and it was called Book Notes. And the guy who was the interviewer, his name was Brian Lamb. And I thought he was the best interviewer around. And he would interview authors, and he would ask them things like, I'm stealing questions from Brian Lamb. What time of day do you write? Where do you write? Like, where do you write? In your room, or do you have a spot?
My office. Yeah.
Your office, okay.
Yeah, which is at my house.
Okay. And, I love that show, but I'll share that with you later, Jackson. So 2 books are finished. Now, are you pitching them to publishers, or are you waiting to do that? What happens next?
The next part is you query an agent, and this is the part where it becomes tricky, because sometimes agents say that your genre isn't a good fit for their list, and sometimes they'll say, if you're still a good fit for my list, please give me a new project or revise what you currently just wrote. Okay.
So, if I heard you correctly, the second book, which you just finished, is a murder mystery?
It is.
Okay. Does it have a title yet?
It has a title. It is called Semester in the Sun.
Semester in the Sun. Do you have what's the title of the first one?
A Musical Reputation Ruined.
Really? Tell me about that one. I want to hear about that. I like music.
A Musical Reputation Ruined is a book where the main character, whose name is Lincoln Godwin, he's supposed to be an inspiration on me. When he's home from college and is hanging out with his 5 best friends, whom he has missed all year long, he learns a truth that someone who had just graduated from high school, it actually takes place here in Libertyville, so it's young adult contemporary.
Okay.
He learns that the book's main villain, Charlotte Danforth, had stolen his reputation by copying his one hobby he likes to do for entertainment, and that is singing his favorite song, Rule Britannia, to his friends. and if you don't know Rule Britannia, it's a British song, and Lincoln is half British, half American. And his main goal in the book is to beat Charlotte in a singing competition to see who's better at singing the song, and the winner gets a $1 million check. Now the process is that he wants to do this because so that he can gain his reputation back.
Okay, so I won't. No spoilers. I won't ask you what happens next, so we'll move on to the next topic. How can I read the book? Can I find it somewhere?
It currently hasn't been accepted yet, so and publishing takes usually 9 months to 2 years.
Okay, so you're kind of in that process now.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I see the connection between the writing and the library, your desire for working in the library.
Yeah.
You know all the genres and all of that kind of stuff. Hanging out in the library is pretty cool. I'm a book nerd too. I like books. So you have other interests that I want to ask you about because I don't have it close by, but I have a little figurine Cause, the artist Cause. I've got a couple of his things in my collection.
Okay.
And you are a fan of WWE. Tell me about that.
So WWE stands for World Wrestling Entertainment. It used to be called World Wrestling Federation a long time ago. And I became a fan of that since 2010. And it was actually just right around the corner before 2011 appeared. And I was introduced to that promotion by a family that my family is still currently friends with.
Okay.
And I just really love all the people that are in the promotion who wrestle currently and who have wrestled ever since I started watching at the age of 12. And I am just like over the moon to seeing these people perform awesomely in the ring and just give really good communication, whether it's fantastic or derogatory, to say the least. And it's mostly just to entertain us all, and either way everyone in the company is very good with their skills and their communication.
That's great. Do you have a favorite wrestler?
My favorite wrestler right now is Sheamus.
Why do you like him?
I like Sheamus because he's a really good competitor. I like how he's one of those guys that does a lot of brawling, and I just like how he has this he puts on this bravery front, which is a great part of his character. I also love his Irish accent and the fact that he brings really good international culture to the WWE.
Is he Irish?
He is.
So like legit Irish, yeah.
Yes, he is from Ireland. He's from Dublin.
From Dublin. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'll have to look him up. I'm old school. I like Ric Flair. I know we don't need to get into super details, but you have quite a collection of, we call them figurines, right?
Yes.
Of all the wrestlers. So do you have Seamus yet? Is he...
I have Seamus. I've had him for a very long time.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So let's get back to the work stuff.
Yeah.
You're still interested in pursuing the library piece, so I'm going to make a call out to anyone. I do these interviews for a few reasons. One is to just have fun. I love talking to students, recent grads, help them with their networking a little bit, because sometimes, life works very fast and we're not, it's just an awareness thing. So if you or any of your friends happen to know someone in the library business, especially around Lake County, close by, hit me up and I'll put you in contact with Jackson, because you have interviewed at different places and the timing hasn't been right on some of those, so he's still looking, and it would be great to make a connection, I guess is all I'll say. I had a couple different things here. So we talked about books and college and work experience. So what would your next dream job be? You mentioned that to me earlier, and I thought it was a cool type of job and you said Orlando or something like that.
Yes, this is back on WWE. Orlando, Florida is the home of where NXT is, and NXT is the promotion where usually it has all the rookie competitors wrestling, and NXT only stays in one place, that is Orlando. And if I wanted to get a job with WWE, I would like to be down in Orlando working in the NXT dungeon, which I could call it, or promotion, and work as either a backstage interviewer or a commentator. And speaking of communication type jobs, I'd also like to see myself as a presenter for an orchestra concert hall communicator / presenter, because I am very fond of classical music. A lot of times I look up different composers and look up information about the pieces that they perform. Most notably for the last night of the BBC Proms, which is the world's biggest classical music festival in the world, which takes place in the UK. And most recently, this past September, the last night didn't happen because of the death of Her Majesty. And it was so sad I didn't get to view it online. And so I wanted to look up what these pieces of music were and where they come from. And it was so sad that I had to miss it, but I did manage to listen to each of the pieces, and I thought to myself, with the sounding of the music from each of those pieces, it would have been one of the greatest last nights ever.
And was there a piece? I didn't know that. I didn't know that you had that interest in classical music. That's really interesting. Is there a piece that you're most fond of?
Well, I'll mention this again, just like how I mentioned with my first novel, Rule Britannia, which is one of the traditional last night favorites. It's mostly Britain's seafaring anthem. It's always performed there by the guest soloist. But however, my most favorite piece, that out of all classical music pieces, is by the Finnish composer Jean Sibelius. It is called Finlandia. And speaking of Sibelius, one of his pieces which was supposed to be featured on the Last Night program this past September was his choral masterpiece and poem pronounced Snefrid, Opus 29.
And that's a good one?
It is.
Yeah, I'll have to, can I find that on YouTube or something?
You can.
Okay, we're gonna do that after we're gonna finish up here. Jackson, any final words or anything? Because we'll sign off.
Well, my final words is, it's been a great pleasure doing this, and I find this to be just like a podcast.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if this were a podcast, I'd say this is my very first podcast to those of you who are listening.
All right. Well, I'm glad you did it. I'm glad we finally arranged our schedules. Thank you so much. I love hanging out with you and learning from you. And I've got some new things to look up, the classical music. I need to look up Seamus. I told you earlier, because you had mentioned Seamus when we were kind of practicing a little bit for this. My dad called me Seamus because my name is James, and that's James in Gaelic. So anyway, we're gonna sign off. Thank you so much for watching and listening and checking out this interview. I'll say it again, if you have any connections in the library world, would love to make some connections out there. And thanks so much for watching. And Jackson, thanks so much for taking the time, man.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.